Hey everybody, it's the Mad Master here. I'm doing another video, and why it's so dark in here is because there was a electricity outage at my apartment building because someone had a light or a utility electricity pole, which is pretty fucking crazy. But anyways, hopefully I get that fixed soon. But since I'm essentially not working for the next few hours because of this, which I did tell my boss, I'll do another video. I can't upload it because I don't have the Wi-Fi because the electricity is out. So that was really weird because everything turned off all of a sudden and sounded really bad. It was really fucked up. So hopefully my computers are okay, but we'll see about that, of course. So I was working on some new songs too. 4 new songs actually I'm working on to release this album. 2 more new songs for the album and 2 more songs for an EP. Another EP or single or whatever the hell you want to call it. So it'd be 13 songs plus 15 songs that I'm working on right now. Pretty crazy, but hopefully everything's okay with that, and hopefully everything's okay with the electricity. That's pretty fucking crazy. It's probably gonna take hours. I might have to go out and do some stuff because I'm just like, fuck this. It might even be in the paper. But anyways, enough talking about that. I'm worried about it, but I'm not gonna obsess over it because shit happens, especially this year. It's 2020 after all. So, this video is going to be about the band Kiss. And I'm just going to tell you a story about how I get into Kiss. My brother-in-law talked about him a lot. When I was growing up. My sister got married, and he was hugely into them, and I was curious about them. So I think I bought Kiss Alive used on vinyl. I was like, this is pretty damn good. And then later I got Alive 2 on vinyl. I wasn't a huge fan, but I got the first album on tape, the self-titled, and I think that's all I had for a long time as a kid. And it wasn't like I was a big fan. I loved that first album. I wore that tape out, not wore it out, but I listened to it a lot. But mid-90s happened, and I started reading these weird interviews with Gene Simmons, like about his sexual exploits and all this stuff, and just like, ew, it's pretty tacky. And back then I was under the impression that I was more conservative, socially or sexually or whatever you want to call it. I'm like, that's horrible. Oh my God, he's having sex with girls and not in love. So it was more like almost religious about it and shit. It was weird. I wasn't really a Christian. Oh, what does this say? No, I don't think so. I'm still under it at LTE right now. So no, it's not back up. Anyways, I was just checking my phone. But yeah, I was kind of conservative, so I really was grossed out by it. I'm still grossed out by it because it's just the way he talks about it. It's just so stupid. Like someone like Lemmy, talks about, oh yeah, I had sex. I don't know how many broads I had sex with. It's like it could be. I just do that. It's like it's not a big deal, but to Gene Simmons, it's like I had sex with 5,000 women in 4 years on tour, and I have it all Polaroids and all this stuff. So, and then him talking about money and stuff, how he was in it for the money, or bands were in it for the money. Even back in the mid-90s when the reunion happened, it's like, this is just a money grab. So I was so turned off at the time. Because remember, this was the time when metal and hard rock were kind of in the shits because, well, I guess not hard rock, but like grunge and alternative taken over. So I was kind of out of metal for a while. I was still into it, but I didn't. It was like the late '90s. I got back into it, and I got into black metal and power metal and stuff. So that was around the time of the reunion when I got into that stuff. So at that point in time, I was like, I still enjoy all their early stuff, but I think there's this whole thing's just a sham. It's stupid and fucking dumb, and Gene Simmons is a scumbag and all this stuff. And I was just kind of like, I don't know. It just was like, off of my radar, and I heard about the reunion and heard about people that went to the shows and stuff. I was like disinterested for whatever reason. I think it was just because by then I thought Kiss were kind of a joke, because in some ways they were at that point, just because of their antics and stupid stuff that they did. Um, so what happened next was the early 2000s. I bought a copy of Destroyer for the first time on tape, used, and I listened to it a lot. I was like, yeah, I love this album. I'm trying to separate the art from the artist. I mean, I was listening to black metal, I mean, why would I not do that already, Norwegian black metal. And then what happened was, slowly through the years, I kind of became acclimated to the idea that Kiss, that Kiss were a great band, and, that they were, I don't know. It's like, I liked Kiss all throughout. I just had a lot of problems listening to them or supporting them in a certain way. Started not to give a shit as much. Like, for a while, I didn't even listen to the band Mayhem because of all the shit that happened back in the day. And then I finally gave them a chance and listened to them. It's kind of ridiculous. I was like very, almost political about it for a while. So, but Kiss, so I started listening to, Destroyer for a while, and then I just kind of, I just kind of got into other stuff. And then it was probably around 10, 11, or 9, 10 years ago, I got interested in albums that the band hates. Like, for example, like Cold Lake, what other albums are like there? That, the band releases an album and then they disown it. I'm trying to think of other albums like that, but Music from the Elder is one of them. That I don't think they hate it necessarily, but they don't think it's a Kiss album. So I actually downloaded it to check it out, and I'm like, holy shit, wow, this is really good. I love it. I loved it immediately. Like The Oath and all that stuff. And I realized like Corthon probably listened to some of that too, because some like the Bathory stuff was influenced by it. In a certain way, like Manowar, early Manowar, and Kiss the Elder. I think he must have listened to some of that, like Under the Rose, for example. It could be if it was heavy, it just kind of has that feel, that epic feel that Corthon used. I'm talking about later Bathory, of course, like the Viking stuff. So I started really to like that album, and I also checked out Carnival of Souls. I was like, this is pretty good. They can like ape these styles really well, but do it almost better than like post-grunge bands and stuff. Like all the fucking ShineDowns and Nickelbacks of the world don't have nothing on Carnival of Souls. I'm sorry. That's just my opinion. So that was kind of like, wow, and then I just slowly got into more of their albums. And then also what happened coincided with this was I saw a few episodes of Family Jewels, which is Gene Simmons's reality show. And I realized that underneath it all, a lot of those interviews and a lot of that persona that he puts across is kind of bullshit, like in a certain way, like it's an act. He's playing the demon, but just in a modern context is like this money grubbing fucking sex maniac, whatever. Because the way he was, I'll just like contrast this with the way he was with his children in that show compared to like Ozzy and Sharon and the Osbournes was like night and day to me. Like he actually gave a shit. Like he seemed like a decent parent. I was like, wow, he actually gives a shit. These kids seem normal. Like you watch the Osbournes, you're like, they're all fucked, they're all fucked up. But his kids seem normal. I was like, this guy's a good father. I never would have thought that because he just seems like a maniac some of the time. But I think it's an act. And I think Paul Stanley kind of said that one time, like it's sort of an act. Like it's just not I don't think it's like completely like because of the music, but just like he has this weird dual personality kind of thing, sort of. So I started to like, and he is an asshole. I've heard of people meeting him. Like in public, he's kind of an asshole, right? To people that he doesn't know and stuff. But, and he can be a really nice guy too. He's just one of those guys. And then Paul Stanley, I just, I realized that Paul Stanley, and read more interviews with him over the years, he doesn't give a fuck. about, I mean, he doesn't care about money, but he's not, to him, it is about the music. It is about the music. So, and I think to Gene it is too, but it just, he likes to get away with saying all this shit. I mean, they never did a fucking new metal album. I guess Asshole by his solo album had a Prodigy cover or whatever, Gene Simmons, but it's about the music. So, and then I hated the fake Kiss too, and that really turned me off in the early 2000s. The fake Fraley and um, I don't know what the Peter Criss version's called, but Eric Singer, who is a great drummer, by the way. So yeah, that's what happened. Really, was I kind of came to some realizations about Kiss and their place in music history and metal history and rock history, and I just kind of like decided that I don't give a shit. They're hated by a lot of people, and they're also bashed by music critics and stuff. But I think Paul Stanley seems like he has a good head on his shoulders for the most part. There is something he did recently, which I won't talk about in this video, that did piss me off, but I'm trying to talk about some of that stuff less, some political stuff, but the way that he talked about something, I don't mean that his position was right or wrong, but just the way he was kind of smug about something that kind of pissed me off. But yeah, I just realized that and I read all the autobiographies in the last 10 years too, or 9 or 10 years. Pretty much everyone except for Gene's, because I was like, that just sounds like stupid shit. If he would have come forward, like Peter Criss's autobiography, holy shit, that is motherfucking crazy. I highly recommend anybody who's into Kiss reads that. That and Kiss and Sell are the best ones. Kiss and Sell is about the business side of Kiss. Little known fact is that before they did the reunion, all the original members were having somewhat of a financial difficulties. Gene and Paul were having less, obviously, but they had these like coal and oil investments their management got them into in the late 70s that went kaput or whatever. And then Ace Frehley and Peter Criss were kind of bankrupt. I think they talk about that in the beginning, or Peter Criss, or who was ghostwriter, or both of them, whatever, talk about that in the beginning of his autobiography, like after the earthquake in 91 or 90 or 89 or whatever that earthquake was. That's an excellent book. Excellent book. Make Up to Break Up. One of the best autobiography of any rock musician I've ever read. It's fucking insane. I mean, it's not like The Dirt or about Motley Crue or what's that called? Please Kill Me by Legs McNeil and Gillian Flynn. That book is like, that's not about one band. The Dirt is not about one person, but as far as like one person, The Dirt is about one person. Not about one person. I'm sorry, I got a text, so I got a little distracted. The Dirt is not about one person, but yeah, for one person autobiography, it's the craziest one in a certain way, just because it's just his essence of his bitterness and everything about the band. It's awesome. It's just entertaining to read. So, anyways, less about that. It's about Kiss. They're just such a good. I mean, it's just become part of my life again, as adult in my later years, not late years, but later years. And I really enjoy them now as a band. I don't care about the Gene Simmons's, whatever his statements are, because I know they're kind of full of shit, and they have this drama associated with them and these bickering back and forth, but it's just part of the band. It's like fucking whatever. And do I think they're underrated? Well, you probably can search my videos and look for why they're or overrated. No, or underrated. I think they are. I listen to Kiss more than Led Zeppelin and probably Deep Purple, even though Deep Purple is pretty close to my heart too. Yeah, I think I've come around to accepting Kiss. What the fuck was that? Something fell. But anyways, everything's got to going crazy and chaotic right now. It's like the beginning of Peter Chris's autobiography. But that's all.